Hey
I
everybody, thank you for tuning in. Look at this. We are in our first episode of Blerds Reacts with my new guest host, Traci Carr. What's going on, Tracy?
Hi. Very grateful to be here. Yeah. I'm having. I admit. I just want to be honest. Like today's been a day.
Yeah,
There's a lot going on in the world.
it truly is. Uh
Yeah.
it
Because
truly
again,
is.
you wake up and you're just like, wait, what just happened?
Yeah.
Let's decompress. Take some deep breaths. Figure out what we can do next. But yeah, like it's always been a thing of how do we congest this, and also like what can we do to take care of ourselves
Yeah,
and our community.
exactly. It literally, especially off the tail end of uh May being Mental Health Awareness Month, and now
Yes,
we're in Pride. We're at the last day of Pride Month, and all stuff that's happened within just in those 2 months' time is just a lot
yeah.
to
Been like rapid fire, and for I know for most people, like yeah, you need time to really understand properly, like how to react, how to fight back, how to also, but most importantly, take care of your mentality, take care of yourself, and because once you take care of yourself, you're able to take care of others.
right. And I think it's more important of what you just said. If you can take care of yourself, you can help take care of others. Because let's face it, we are in a hell of a tailspin. I hate to say it that way, but
Oh yeah.
it's no other way to really describe it. It's just like, okay, like you said, can I just wake up and everything, like it's just like you just cleaned the house? Who remember Mr. Incredible? He says like, I just cleaned this stuff up. I'm like, you're already
Yeah, I
messing stuff up
know.
already. So I don't.
I will say. So
So
yeah,
yeah,
but
it's a lot.
we still have our little escapism. We still have our ways of blurs, of finding our favorite shows, finding our community, finding ways to say like, hey, there's a lot happening right now, but I'm just gonna dive into
This is what we're
what
here
I know.
for.
Yeah, you
This is
know,
what we're. This is why we're here.
and that's why I'm literally wearing my Star Wars shirt today. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh, see,
I'm wearing my
well, I
Star
wish
Wars,
we had a coordinated. I should have worn my Mandalorian shirt.
and as you
But
can see in my apartment,
it,
like
yeah,
very.
it's very Star Wars esque, and I got all this Marvel stuff and everything behind me.
Now,
So
what's
so it is. There's we have a lot of shows, and I'm still catching up on comics because let's face it, when you're running two shows and on the third one and doing we're both busy individuals. But
yeah.
we were talking earlier, you and I, and uh you were saying you had just finished the Umbrella Academy. So I wanted your thoughts on that.
Oh yeah, I almost finished it. I still have one episode left.
Okay.
So
Okay.
one episode left, but I love it so much. There's actually a character on there that I mentioned to a friend earlier. I was like, this character reminds me of like a comrade on the ground because they're so fierce. It's number 5.
Oh,
I really I
I
love how
love Five.
I love 5 so much. Yes, I love 5 so much. Like everything about 5. I'm just, every time
He
5
it's like
is
he's
out
the one in the
there.
room. He was just like, would you just let me do my job? I know about what's going on.
Exactly. That's what I adore about him because like it's such like a nice refreshing of like so much chaos is going on at 5. It's just they're just soaking it in. it's just it's like all right, back at the task at hand, please.
Yeah, I you
So
know what I will say, starting this season off, and I watched it all last week over the course of like 3 days, and that first episode, I said, wait, what the hell's happening? Are they really having a dance off? I was like, but and I was here for it because it's something about a good dance off in an area where where you would least expect it.
yes, that's the beauty of like Umbrella Academy. Umbrella Academy can be so fierce, but also so lovable and so sweet. The whole
Yeah,
storyline with Victor. Oh my gosh.
let's
I
talk
know
about that one.
I
Elliot
know
Page. I loved how they addressed this whole thing. I loved how they addressed the whole transition, and Luther for one didn't. None of them batted an eye. So this start, despite their dysfunction in that whole family, they still accept each other. And when he came down, new look and everything else, and they were just like, "Oh, what's the look?" And well, I'm Victor now, so I think I've always been Victor, and it was just like, okay.
Yeah. I did think it was cute that Luther was like, "Can we at least have a party?"
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
He seemed to be the most excited, and I think that really excited him. And he was like, "And love the cut, number 5, right?" I'm like, "Wait a minute!" Like he's
One of my best friends is trans, and I told him earlier today, I was like, "Please start watching Umbrella Academy. You're gonna love it so much." I was in his wedding recently, and I was like, "If you need anything to watch, please watch Umbrella Academy."
yeah. So
So,
great. It's a great show. I think they'll. I'm pretty sure they'll do a season 4, considering how that went. Their new Ben's an ass.
I know.
Oh my god.
You know, like we all have our little issues, our little fatherly issues. You know, we always want to be someone. There's always someone that always want that appreciation. You know,
Yeah.
that craves that attention, that craves that appreciation, and you know, that person, you just gotta show them a little bit extra love.
Yeah. And I think it's, why their new Ben is an ass. It's safe to say that their father is an ass, and no matter what reality they're in, I'm like, dude, I guess you're the same Hargreaves, and no matter what time slot they're in at that point, it doesn't matter.
I give a little bit of benefit of that with this one. Like, at least this one is more like, he's an asshole, but he's like, you know what, I'm gonna help you learn your powers, like grow with your powers. Yeah, I
Oh
don't know what's
god.
happening in the latest episodes. I'm probably saying a lot before. It's like you're saying a lot before you finish. You don't know what's happening here.
Yeah.
But I did see the part where he's become immortal.
Yeah.
And like the whole testing of that was hilarious.
Oh yeah, I was out playing catch with Dad, and I'm like, wait. Not exactly that version you would think of.
It is pretty funny how Robert Sheehan that plays that character, even in his other show, The Misfits.
Yes.
Yeah,
He almost seemed to play. He plays that almost that same character. Just he takes it up a couple notches.
Yeah, and I actually love that both characters. So Robert Sheehan, like, thank you. I can tell like
every time I see him, Every time I see him, I think of Misfits, and I'm just like,
yeah,
dude, this is so funny.
I know, and a lot of people don't actually know about the Misfits. What's funny is at the height of like Game of Thrones, when I was living out here, I actually met one of the Shire character in the Misfits. The Invisible one. I'm forgetting his name. I'm really sorry about that.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, I actually met him in person. And he thought I was gonna say like, "Oh my God, Game of Thrones." Then I threw out the Misfits, and he was like, "Whoa, you're talking about the Misfits to me?"
I love that. I love it. It's
characters.
I love that show. And I was I had turned my wife on to it. I love the show, and I was just like, I gotta see what's gonna happen. And pretty soon, then it was nothing, and I'm like, no, I want more. Wait a minute, you didn't give me everything.
And I wanted more with that same cast. I admit, by the 3rd season, I was kind of like,
it was a little bit draggy,
yeah. Like the first 2 seasons.
So within the Umbrella Academy, I think what I never thought Allison really went through it.
Yeah,
she really went through it this year, and I know some people were on like certain sites, and they were like, "Oh, she's annoying," and I'm like, "You got to remember, she left her whole husband and kid, and she's desperately trying to find them and can't."
And 2 different universes, and 2 different parallel universes, and 2 different timelines. Sorry, not universe, but like timelines where it was. So you have one timeline where you lost Claire, and then the second timeline you find your husband Ray, and y'all are doing some amazing stuff because it was based in the 60s, and they had the sit-ins and such. The next thing you know, another timeline passes, and you lose Ray. You're going back to Claire. So anywhere you're trying to go, you're losing someone. So it could definitely affect a person to constantly sacrifice someone they love in every time they're in something, every situation.
Especially when we were first introduced to her in the first season, how she was just major movie star. She was just this big time actress, and then to be here and then all of a sudden be a complete unknown and have nothing,
Yeah.
you know that you felt defined you, and it was weird. And I thought what was crazy was her being in that same diner with Victor, and the waitress comes up and was pouring her coffee, and I'm like, yeah, there's trauma there because, like you said, the sit-ins, and she was dealing with that, and I'm like, she's dealing with a lot. And they even spoke about that in verbatim a little bit, about dealing with all of that stuff and during the sit-ins, and then just losing everything. And this is what I loved about Allison and Victor's relationship. They listened to each other.
Yeah.
They really listened to each other. They really cared about each other. They really had each other's backs, and spoiler alert for those who had, it's not so much the last episode that you haven't seen yet, but you've seen the majority of it already. But then Allison finds out what happened with Victor and I can't remember his name, but he's the old guy.
Yeah, I think his name's like Harold or something.
Something like that. Yeah. Yeah, and it was just like, wow. Yeah. And like, it's almost like that when Victor found out, it was almost like that same kind of secret that Captain America had with Winter Soldier, finding out that he was like, I can't tell. Do I tell my loved one what happened, or do I hold this to myself? How do I address this? It was like, that was just such a raw area to be in, and I'm like, yeah, I could see how the difficulty will come in.
Yeah, that was a perfect analogy between the two. The conflict between like Tony and Cap was basically like, how could you keep this secret about my family, my parents? You see the trauma that I have from my parents, not being able to actually say what I wanted to say to my dad before the passing.
Right.
So that's a great analogy between the two. And yeah, people have to go through that. People have to grieve.
Yeah.
The last thing I saw between them was definitely the argument at the wedding.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm hoping once I finish my last episode, we'll really dive in there.
You're right. Oh my God! So
it's I love it so much.
Yeah, it is. It's a great show, and I can't wait. And I'm pretty sure they'll do a season 4 to kind of.
I did want to mention though, it's a little ironic watching the show and how beautiful and sweet and wonderful it is, and it's such an escapism show because you love these characters so much. You build with these characters, but it's also kind of weird watching it because the world's ending.
Yeah.
In the series, and then every day you wake up in reality, like, all right, what's happening now?
And then nobody's the least bit really freaked out. It's just like you do realize it's like maybe a block left, and you're on that block. Like there's nothing left, and they're just like out eating an apple and just watching the sun. I'm like, wait a minute.
They're
number five. He's just like, yeah, this is normal.
Number 5 is getting drunk. Number 5 is like, if I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna get a little bit tipsy tonight.
Yeah. He's like, I've done all I can do.
Yeah, exactly, right? So I was just thinking, like, wow, this is such an escapism. All right, don't look outside.
Right, exactly. Right, Diego. I love the conversation the conversation with those two. With
and Lila.
Yeah. It was. Ben, stop doing karate. Mom says I gotta practice karate. Well, she's not wrong. Because he's like at that moment he's like half father, and then he's like, yeah, half vigilante. He's like, you know what? She's not wrong. Yes. But then finding out that's not his kid. And I'm like, whoa.
Oh dude. Yeah, I was that whole exchange. I was dying laughing. Because the whole exchange was so funny between like him learning that the Stanley wasn't his.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, she's like, yeah, we met in a insane asylum. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. He's like, you're crazy. Yeah. He's like, you're crazy. He's like, well, she's like, yeah, well, we met in the same asylum. So I'm just like, Can't argue with the logic.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
You can't really argue with that at all. You're just kind of like,
I know.
yeah,
I
you
actually
got me on
brought
that one.
Diego back to like his little speech.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, his speech, and then and I was just like, oh, that really caught Diego's character, like Diego, like super off guard. So
when him and Allison go out for drinks, and she's kind of like, oh, you mean like when you were, what is she, a broke Batman or something like that? She goes, and it was like,
honestly, between them is so perfect. Like I always do this with my friends. Like I always feel like you really know who your true friends are when you can do two things, like sit in silence with them. Like you don't feel the pressure or need to talk. Y'all can just hang out and watch TV together. It's not like, oh my gosh, I need to talk to my friend this whole time.
right.
And when you're able to roast your friends, when you're able to roast your family, like if you can have like little jokes like that, like you a broke Batman, like
and he didn't really. He was kind of miffed about it, but at the same time, he was like, whatever, you know.
Yeah, that's a dynamic that I do love with the friendships that I have too. A little bit of a roast is kind of nice.
Oh yeah. It's how you really know. You be like, oh, you really get me. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You really get me. I like this. I'm like, you can't even be mad about it.
One of my favorite roasts is from one of my really good friends. So I was watching Castlevania, and I had a thing for Dracula, and my friend messaged me like, and he was kind of nervous about saying this to me, but he was like, oh, what, you have a thing for the pasty white boy that's going to be problematic and give you a bunch of drama? Shocking. And I was just like, oh my God. I literally sent him the gif of like, I had that immediate reaction.
Wait, hold on. I don't know whether to congratulate you on that, or I'm surprised he came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it was funny because like I actually showed it to like with his permission, of course. I showed it to some friends, and they were, I think immediately someone was just like, "Yo, that is your homie right there. That came from true love. Y'all are great friends. You can tell." And I was like, "Yeah, it came from like one of my best friends."
Yeah, but it's like me and my family on my mother's side. It's a lot. It's mostly boys. The older generation is mostly men, and we're all bald. We all cut our hair bald and everything else. And we always rag on each other's heads because they're all like these big round heads, and we just we just run. And my wife, the first time, it was me and my older cousins, and we were actually at a repast for one of our I think it was for my uncle, and we're all dressed in black, shirts, black slacks and everything. And she's like, I've never seen so many milk duds in one room. that was not in the box. And I'm like, you're getting it. And so then she hears all of us talking and we're having drinks and stuff, but we're just ragging on each other. And when we left, me and my wife left, she's like, I can't believe y'all do that. And I'm like, yeah. And then when she met my aunt, because my aunt has this thing, shout out to my aunt Dorothy, by the way. She has this thing where she will always flip people the bird every time she takes a picture. And when the first time my wife's seen it, she says, she really flipping people off? And I'm like, oh no, that just means she loves you. That's just what she does.
I'm like, your aunt's my hero. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Yeah.
Like I adore her already. But yeah, I do have to say that though. Like the best person to ever roast me my whole life, my mom. Black moms, black women. When it comes to a nice little roast to show you some love, there's no one that can do it better than black women. We're gonna put it out there.
Yeah, I know. My mom's the youngest of 4 kids. And
I love that. Like,
yeah. My mom's the youngest of 4 kids. She has an older sister and 2 older brothers. And the first time I heard her say it, I'm like, you learned that from Uncle Wayne and Uncle Stir, didn't you? Okay, yeah. I'm not surprised you picked that up. So, oh my God.
That's why I like their family dynamic. It's like so it just feels real because there's so many like human aspects of like displayed in the show. So it makes me like I was literally about to finish it today, and then I was like, I probably should go to work.
Yeah, we've all been there. We were just like, what time is it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I could squeeze one more minute. What time do I gotta go to bed? If I watch this now, I
yeah.
can
How
live
many
off
hours of
of,
sleep I get?
yeah, how many hours of sleep can I get
Uh,
by?
let me. Wait. I gotta get my hours of sleep, and I gotta check the news and lay in the bed like this for like 10 minutes.
Right. See if I can get away with this.
Yeah, see
Oh
if I can.
man.
Oh, yeah.
It's fun. It's I love this. I love the show. I love what they're doing. It's
I'll
funny you mentioned Star Wars.
Oh
Huh?
yes, I'll
It's
check it.
funny.
I'll check back in with you once I finish the finished last
Oh yeah,
episode.
definitely. So you're wearing Star Wars. You have the Star Wars posters behind you, which I love. I'm
Yeah.
jealous now because
Well,
I love those two posters.
thank you. I have
Ah,
so we have so these posters.
ooh, I like that
So
one.
my living room is my apartment is very. It depends on what room you're in. So this
Hmm.
room is very sci-fi. We have mostly like Star Wars. On the other side is Star Trek.
Ah, nice
You go down the
balance
hallway.
again. There's that balance.
Yeah. The kitchen's Marvel. If you go down the hallway, it's all Blade Runner.
Oh jeez.
So
So everybody that's listening or watching the show, if I up and go up and move out to LA, I might be
yeah, so like every time folks come to my house, I'm just like, yeah, so welcome to Nerd Paradise.
there it is.
Pick your pick of a room. Do you like your Marvel stuff? Do you like your DC stuff? Do you like
You're like, I'm never gonna leave. It's like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory.
it's very like nerd chic.
Yeah,
Like
we can coin that.
yeah, it's
We can
very like
coin that. Nerd chic. Blurred chic. Yeah,
blurred
that works.
chic. Blurred
Blurred
chic.
chic. Oh man. So Kenobi. Wow.
Ah,
6 episodes and so much has happened in that 6 episodes. Because for one, it correlates to the very first 6
yeah.
movies, like the dynamics of each film, and I'll break that down probably in a quick review or review show later. But watching Ewan McGregor go from this pretty much broken Jedi, can't even say that, he was just this broken man who still had compassion for people who were struggling and people less than or whatever. Watching him go from that and then getting to episode 6 and seeing basically the light show back up in his eyes as far as like being a defender and everything else. But beyond that, 2 people really stole the show for me. And it was Moses Ingram's Reva.
Oh yes.
And it was the young lady who plays, and I'm just coining her this, Baby Leia. She was
Baby
so
Leia.
stinking adorable.
And I can honestly I can definitely feel her as a Baby Leia.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you get like child actors and you're just like, oh, they're just a child actor.
Yeah.
But I really feel that little girl actually captured the essence of Leia.
She really did.
Because she really did. She really captured the essence of how Leia was always rebellious, and Leia just played by her own rules. You're not going to tell Leia what to do.
Yeah, and she was very much like her father even said it. He would talk to her. He would pretty much encourage her. He's like, oh, I like the fire that she has. I like what she's doing. She's going to go out and explore. She has that leadership quality. And she's just 10. And she's like, but she looks so much younger than that. But she's just 10.
Her too. The casting on this was perfect because she actually looks like her.
Yeah, she does.
She looks like her. It's just like, who is this child? Did y'all just find the cousin or just
like there was so much she was doing, and I'm like, Carrie Fisher would be so proud right now.
So proud. Oh my gosh.
So I mean, and I loved everything she was doing. Even when Obi-Wan finally rescued her the first time, and she's every bit Leia. And it was moments he had to stop, and he was just like, "Oh yeah, you're definitely your mother's child."
On the when they were going back to, I forgot where they were going, but they were in the truck together.
Mm-hmm.
I said Leia, and the guy was like, "Hey, you said her name was something else different," and he had to catch himself.
Yeah.
Say,
Like, well, I look at her. He's like,
or
I look at it. Yeah, he look at her, and there's times I'll see her mom, and even though he was covering at the same time, he was covering his tracks at the same time. He really meant that. He was like, he's looking at her. He's like, yeah, you're every bit your mother right now. You have no idea.
A little bit about Padme. Yeah.
And it really makes you look at Padme. You're like, it gives you so much more appreciation just in Star Wars in general. You know, seeing Order 66 executed, which was freaking amazing, because you like, I'm like, who, like, if Grogu got out, who else got out? You know, like, it couldn't have just been this one person that made it out. And then here you see a group of kids, and Reva was one of those kids, albeit probably left in the gutter, as they said. But my God, seeing that she was so full of anger, and she hated Obi-Wan for not being there to save them, and hated Anakin for being the one who did the deed.
Yeah.
And it was like, I like to know who's doing her hair. I said that on the previous show before. Yeah. I like to know who's doing her, because I'm like, one, her hair was laid out. Yeah.
Someone else posted was just like, yeah, usually on the dark side people will become like withered and stuff like that, but Reva over here glowing. So.
She glowing.
Yeah, Reva over here glowing.
She's glowing. She was like, there was nothing. I'm like, what does that say?
Right? What does that say?
It was an amazing show.
If Comic-Con's coming up, I feel like I should get a new hairstyle, a new outfit. Don't put that out there.
Yeah, but I absolutely love this show, and I would like, you know, being that is probably what, another 10 years, because you figure by the time you see New Hope, Luke and Leia around 20-ish.
Yeah.
So I'd like to see, there's talks of a season 2. I think they can get away with telling another series, another 6-episode series, maybe.
I love that, because I would love to see a little bit more of Hayden. I do have to say, like, that last
that guy
of the mixing between him and James Earl Jones, like the speaking,
that was haunting. That scene was haunting.
That mixing between the two, and the colors with the red and the blue, and
yes,
and it represented such a beautiful way the conflict in between, like, Darth Vader. Like,
yeah.
Oh my God, that scene.
It was like, as he spoke, as you heard Anakin, you've seen more of the blue.
Yeah, as you hear.
And Anakin, the red was on the undamaged side of the mask, and then
they did a little bit of an orange.
Yeah.
To show, like, on the facial structure, and just that moment where he says, "You didn't kill Anakin."
Like, I did, and I'm like, he's not wrong. He did say that. He told him that. Yeah. He told Luke that. Well, Anakin killed your father. You know, I'm like, he wasn't wrong. Everything mixes. Everything sits in a nice little bowl now, and it
was captured so beautifully, and just like that little slit in there, and it's such great closure for Obi-Wan too, because Obi-Wan was holding on to that, thinking he failed. Right. So it's nice closure to just say, you
didn't fail. Like, you did everything you could. Yeah.
Yeah. This is all me, sir. Like, your friend is gone.
They never cease to impress me with every time Vader has shown up, whether in the later films and now the series. Because, you know, all these years they kept saying Vader is probably one of the baddest sons of bitches in villainy, you know. In this show, if we thought Rogue One was the pinnacle, that scene in Rogue One, we thought that was it.
There's a reason why Darth was, like, feared. Like, Anakin,
when he's walking through the town, knowing Obi-Wan is there, and he's using the Force and dragging people and snapping their necks, basically saying, "I will kill everybody in this town until you show your face."
One of the greatest villains of all time.
Yes.
One of the greatest villains of all time. But the main thing I really love about it, every time they tell a story with him, is they always explain the story. They never say like, oh, this person's just a villain just because they are, but they show the story of like, obviously with the prequels, but like even if like Rogue One, even with this, I always love the fact that they always delve into there's conflict here. Like there's always some kind of trauma or conflict when it creates these villains, when it creates these people. Because like I that's something that I always talk about too. I want people to humanize villains. Because like when people do something horrible or evil in life, like unfortunately the examples that we're seeing in every day, these are human beings. Like they're not just like these myths that are going around. It's not like a myth. Like, oh my god, I can't believe these people can do these things and be so evil. It's like, how can they? I was like, they're all human. Yeah. To start humanizing these situations with people, so we know how to react and know how to combat it.
I like how they're doing it. And even Marvel is doing that with a lot of their film. Well, a lot of their villains. They've managed to make them human in a way that it makes sense. Like Thanos isn't just killing people like in the comics. He's not killing people just to kill people. He has a reason why he's doing what he's doing. Yeah, Killmonger is rightfully upset for how his life went.
Yeah, honestly, like it was Kwame's like Ture's like birthday yesterday. So like anytime I hear about Killmonger, I always think of just him. Like, I don't think when it comes honestly when I always think of Kwame when I hear Killmonger, because it's like you said, it was justifiable anger. Like justifiable anger.
I get why you're upset, my guy.
Yeah, that's why I've always wanted to do the episode of when we speak about protesting and different tactics and stuff. I always want to talk about the ways between specifically Black Panther, because I always want to talk about when it comes to T'Challa and Killmonger, the same issues, especially with Lupita's character as well.
Oh yeah, Nakia.
Like Nakia. Yeah, they're all saying the same thing, however, going about it different ways. So
exactly.
So it's like, but that's basically activism in a certain way.
Yeah,
we're all trying to end goal. We're all trying to beat what we're up against, these obstacles. But you have so many different ways and so many little different pockets of how we get there, and that's the beauty of it.
That's what I loved about even Age of Ultron, when Ultron is like, you humans are destroying everything.
Yeah, he's like,
here's a thought.
Like, 5 minutes, y'all suck.
All right. It's like, y'all created me.
Yeah.
Here's a thought. Let me just take y'all off the board. I don't think you guys get it.
Y'all do too much.
Right.
Y'all do too much. Like, just imagine, like, oh my god, just imagine if Ultron was here today. Ultron would be like, oh no, like,
oh yeah, there's no discussion here. And I'm like, there's no discussion here. Huh? Like, we need to get this thing and wipe this off the map. This is like either that, or I'm like, you know what? Maybe I will just leave you to your devices and just go.
Get out of here.
Because this is not working for me.
But yeah, so like that's what I like about Marvel. Yeah, I love about Marvel. Like DC's doing it as well. I don't want to spoil anything for like the Batman, but I think it's been out. But,
yeah. If you haven't watched people out there, if you haven't watched the Batman yet, which it's been basically free at this point for the past several months, so you can check it out. So it's not,
I'm always nervous about the spoilers, but the only reason why I mention that too is because like it was such a beautiful way of how they mirrored Batman and the Riddler. Yeah, like the two orphans, like how one was treated, how the other one was treated. Like they're basically circling each other as like the same person. Entity is just the way you're going about it.
Yeah, and that's what I've always felt about between that, and that's what I felt about with Killmonger, Nakia, and T'Challa. Just like you said, all of their reasonings or all of their issues are the same. It's just are you listening to each other? You have Nakia who's seeing it for what it is. You have Killmonger who's lived through it, and you have T'Challa who's like, I want to help. However, and it's like, no, you need to understand. There's a reason it's being brought to your attention, and like there's a way to kind of combat this issue. So
Yeah, that's something I'm always trying to talk about too. Is like there's a few things that like my brain just compute as like the bigger picture, but
Mhm.
I'm always trying to speak about language. Like I'm a big proponent when it comes to people understanding context, people understanding nuance, people understanding like how language is such a powerful tool and how to connect with people and communicate with people. And that's one of the reasons why I never like to raise my voice. I never like to yell because I don't think you really connect with people if you're constantly
Yeah,
speaking
when you're
to them.
barking, when
Like when
everybody's
you're,
barking, nobody's listening. So
yeah, whenever, yeah, exactly. When everyone's barking, and you can have some valid points, you can have some valid reasons. But if you
mhm.
start barking, it's hard for people to understand what you're saying. So I'm glad we're on the same page because I've been through a few of the situations where I'm like, yo, you have like been speaking with some other activists, and I would blatantly tell them like, you have amazing points, you have amazing thoughts. However, you shouldn't yell at the people that want to help you. You
Yeah,
shouldn't yell at people that
yeah.
are in the same situation as you and they just want to help. So it just brings me back to something I just recently went through, and I'm hoping that the words that I said just now really resonated with some folks.
And I think that's what it takes. Is like, I guess, like they said in biblically saying, like with a pinch of salt, so they kind of get the point. And like, arguing somebody down does nothing more than just make you the louder person. It doesn't mean your point was made.
Exactly.
It's some at point. There's certain situations where you have to sit back and really look like, okay, I can understand why you're upset about this. However, this is why we're upset about this particular thing. Heck, we could probably be looking at the same problem once again, just at different angles.
Yeah. I I can't wait to do that because I really want to like portray Killmonger in another light because
Yeah,
like I want to portray Killmonger in another light because like obviously he was the villain of the movie, but I had to say he was spitting facts.
yeah.
Like it's
He was
hard.
everything he was saying. I'm sitting in the theater, and I'm like, he's not wrong.
Not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Not wrong.
If anything, his execution is flawed, but he's not wrong.
Right? So like so I'm excited for that. But
Yeah.
but going back to Kenobi, I don't want to lose go too far. I told you that. I appreciate you for going along on the ride with me.
I
Um,
love taking these type of rides. What are you
yeah,
talking
I like these rides. We're gonna be really good with this.
about? Right.
Yeah, I do like how they always humanize Darth because like you want to know how these people are made or created. Like throughout history, like I always go with when it comes to like even like probably the most evil person ever lived, we can go with
Mhm.
Hitler.
Ugh.
I always say like we should show videos of Hitler barbecuing and hanging out with his kids. Like people just see him like doing his speeches and they're like, "Oh, look at this man, he was so evil." And it's like, he had a whole wife and kids. Like he was a person.
Yeah.
Like he was a person that people actually went against, rose up against. Like if we keep knowing that our villains are also human beings, like the Supreme Court justices, we need to know that they're human beings and we need to protest. We need to make sure like we disrupt them. Like if we see them as just another human being,
Just the
then we still
enemy.
have instead of just this like outer worldly enemy, then maybe we can actually like collectively find ways to really say like, all right, you know what, this is a position that you were put in, but we still have the power as a people, as a community, to not
Right.
let you push any more of
This is
this
this
like
has been this
bigger
has been
agenda.
the I guess the key word for this episode is balance. Like everything we've talked
Yeah.
about has been balance. And so
What? I always laugh when I hear that word because I don't know why.
it just this works out. This just works out. Oh man.
Like, I don't know. You know what? I'm just gonna put anytime someone's like, "How do you describe yourself?" I'm just gonna put balance.
This is balanced.
Just
Like, I mean,
balance.
just it just the whole, but you're right. When you can understand certain aspects and stop reacting out of
Yes.
anger, and just like, okay, why do you feel this way? And once you're done, or once I'm done, then the other person goes. And that way you can understand, okay, I get why you're saying that. However,
Yeah.
maybe you're going about it the wrong way.
I
This
think
is how we're feeling.
I'm gonna just get a conch. I'm gonna get a conch.
Yeah. We got to go back to the island.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back to the island. I'm gonna just do that. I'm gonna
You
get a
can't
conch.
speak unless you are holding the conch.
Yeah, if you're holding this, you can speak. I'm gonna go back to that.
Island rules. It seems to work. It seems to work.
It seems to work at the time.
So yeah, but Kenobi has possibly been, like I said, that episode where he's tracking him down in time and he rakes him across the coals, so to speak. Like I'm just like, I'm like, dude, get up and fight.
Right? Oh my god, that was so awesome. That was so awesome. I admit too, like when I was watching that, I was like, this is hot.
Yeah.
Like I just love
like he was tearing ass.
And that hair just going in his face.
Yeah, but that last episode, that battle, that was the battle I was living for. The whole
like standing there with the boulders and just
and like when you see Darth, and he was just like, the first thing I thought of, I'm like, Darth, you finally have the high ground. However, you still didn't execute it the way you thought you should have executed it. You thought burying him alive would be enough, and you didn't. And when Obi-Wan starts thinking about Luke and Leia and everything, this is why I say the writing that's going on for their Star Wars universe is bar none fantastic. Because when you think about New Hope and Obi-Wan and Vader are facing off, and what happens? Because that's when they went to go save Leia then. And when he sees Chewie, Han, the droids, Luke and Leia, when he sees Luke and Leia running out, that's when he knows. He was like, my job is done.
Yeah.
That's all I needed to see. They've been apart for 20 years. They're finally together. I can finally focus here and give up the ghost.
Yeah.
And it made so much more sense. And I'm like, oh my God. It was like when
I love how they connected it. I love how they connected, because as soon as I finished watching Kenobi, I was like, I really need to watch New Hope right now.
It was like, let me give this another chance. Like, let me watch these prequels all over again. Like, because now you really are seeing a story being built. And for the guys over there at Disney, hear my voice. It's deep as hell. So listen to me very well. Please bring back Mace Windu. Please.
Yes, bring back Mace. Oh,
Sam said he is ready and willing. He's waiting in the wings.
You know the story of Samuel Jackson, why he has a purple lightsaber?
Yeah. He actually asked George Lucas, he was like, can mine be purple? And George was like, yeah, I don't see why not. I'm like, who's going to say Sam Jackson now? Let's just put it that way.
Okay, that's the reason why I brought that up, because like that's the power of Sam Jackson.
Yeah, you know, I'm like, I need that type of clout. Like, this guy just said, I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah, this is what I want.
Okay. Yeah. And it makes so much more sense, because if you watch the prequels, and he's on the council, and they're even saying like Obi-Wan is like third in command as far as being a badass. First is Yoda, then is Mace, you know, and then is Obi-Wan. And he's like, he's as wise. He was like, he's as wise as Master Yoda and just as strong as Mace. That tells you right there that Mace is and if you've seen the Clone Wars, the animated one where he's fighting off all the droids, it's like, come on, this dude is badass. He can survive a fall.
I know. That would be fantastic. And yeah, Sam Jackson's totally down too. Samuel Jackson there. I love watching Samuel Jackson in interviews, by the way. If you haven't seen Samuel Jackson in an interview, I tell you, just watch most of his interviews, because he is so honest about everything. He's like, I'm a big time Hollywood actor, but he's still himself. Like he does not sugarcoat anything.
No, I think probably for me, two of the coolest cats in Hollywood is Denzel and Sam Jackson. I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, I sit down with y'all cats and chop it up.
Right?
Y'all not
I love
holding
that.
back anything.
Exactly. I love that. Like even Denzel, I think one of the interviews he had, they were mentioning like, "Oh, you and your Hollywood friends." He's like, "What friends?" He's like, "I still hang out with people I knew when I was in high school." He's like, "What Hollywood friends? Like y'all are putting this on."
Yeah,
Like,
Sam Jackson still goes to like I think it's Golden Apple Comics. Like they said they would see him just, and this was before he was known as Nick Fury. He would they was like there's nothing for him to show up and get a few comics. Like this was his thing.
yeah, yeah. He's like, I just love that everyone's secretly nerds. Like
Yeah.
that's like one of the biggest reasons why I talk about the show and create the show, because like when I started, I was always part of an activist group or doing some type of activist work, but I always mention it propelled in 2020. But I noticed like anytime I was on the ground, like it's always someone that's a nerd.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always someone that's a nerd,
course.
definitely the Blerds, and it's just like it doesn't matter. Like some kind of geekdom is right there for people.
Yeah,
To
for
really,
them, it just shocks me when I see people our ages and they say, "Oh, I've never seen Star Wars or Star Trek," or I'm like, "Where have you been?"
Yeah, where have you been? Or my favorite is always just the folks. Well, not my favorite, but it's just baffling to me. It's usually the ones that don't really get the context.
Yeah.
Because like when the uprising happened, so many people who I know are Star Wars fans were like, "Why are they out there? Why is this happening?" I was like, "Don't you know who the rebels are?"
Like it's so right down the center.
It's written for you to know that and even George was like, "Yeah, the way the stormtroopers march, I literally got it from Nazi propaganda videos."
Exactly. Exactly. Like, how do you not?
Like,
It's like you see the parallels.
the parallels are literally in your face. It's so in your face, and so that's the part. I mean, you can say the same for the Punisher, of course.
Yeah.
But it's always those where I'm always just.
He never seems to have his problems. He seems to solve his issues right away.
Yeah, I know exactly. Like
He's looking at Peter. He's looking at Peter and everybody. He's like, "You guys keep dealing with the same junk every day. I don't have those problems. I don't have those problems. It's wrong. Yeah, but you don't see those problems happening down here anymore, now do you?"
Yes. Oh man. Oh gosh, I get so excited with these conversations.
Yeah, it's what I live for. I live for these. But yeah, I am looking forward to, if they are doing a season 2, please do give us another 6 episodes. Let's tell the rest of it, because after that, then you can stop, because we know the rest of the story. We just know, okay, this is what happened at this 10-year mark. What happened next at that next portion of that time? Because I know it just wasn't quiet for 10 years.
I know, right? I have some friends that do work at like Lucasfilms and that part of Disney. I kind of want to be like a nosy person, be like, "Hey, y'all, what's up with that?"
Here, have another shot of Terramana. Here, take that.
Yeah. I put Reva in there somewhere too.
What if we all can be like Howard Stern and have a hot mic moment and say, "Oh, I'm attached to a Dr. Doom project." Dude, what?
I'm very annoying to my friends, but it's all out of love.
We need friends like that.
Yeah.
Oh man, we need friends like that.
Yeah,
so yeah, we do. So but once again, I love this series. Just I love what they did. I love especially that last scene with Leia, with baby Leia. She's baby Leia, and they show her getting ready, and she's just combing her little hair. She's putting her on her holster and her little gloves, and I'm just like, there's so many emotions, because one, she's adorable. She's absolutely adorable the way she's doing this, and then she's hitting all the marks. She's got her buns in place. She's putting on her little holster. She got her little gloves on, and everything is just like. Her mom walks in, and she's just like, "This is just this." There's no fighting this. And her father sees it, and he's just like, "You look amazing."
Yeah. And it's such a sweet and beautiful homage to Carrie. It's
Yeah.
so sweet to do that for her, and the icon that she was. Rest in peace, rest in paradise.
Yes. Yes.
Just showing like you're still someone that gives hope. You're still
Yeah.
someone that gives like folks with ovaries the opportunity, women out there, to think that like they can fight against
The oppression.
yeah, they can fight against the oppression. They can fight against this evil. So it's nice that they put it there just to say like, hey, like we see you, we see this character, we see how powerful this character was, and we want to say how sweet and who she's gonna become. So it was such a powerful thing. It's such a
Yes.
beautiful thing to set
And
that up.
and if the Disney Marvel conglomerate and they keep giving me these these strong melanated sisters, just
Yes,
oh my
yes,
god,
so
and they're all gorgeous. They're all gorgeous.
oh, they're absolutely gorgeous.
I'm
I
like,
do want
what are you doing right now?
I do want to say like I did love how Disney unfortunately there was a little bit of controversy with our girl Moses.
Yeah,
I do love
from
how
the toxics.
the toxics. Anywhere you go, you get the toxics.
Exactly. They make it bad for everyone.
Yeah, right. It's like calm down. But it was really nice how everyone came out and supported her. Like Ewan came out with his video was like, "You're not an actual Star Wars fan. Like, I don't want anything to do with you. Stop watching Star Wars if you're gonna be this like racist, hateful person."
Like you're missing the entire point. Like you literally are missing the entire point.
Like, how do you? Again,
it's weird to me. It's weird to me.
It's
once
weird,
again,
yeah.
Ultron. Once again, Ultron was right. Ultron and Thanos pretty much had it on the nose right there. They're like, you know what? Let me snap my fingers.
One of my favorite memes is a guy on the phone like calling Thanos. Be like, Thanos was right.
Right. Man, so I love what they're doing over there.
Yeah.
Staying in the vein of Disney, we have Miss Marvel.
Yay! Yes, Miss Marvel.
Kamala Khan. They're what, episode 4 now? Is episode 4. One, I absolutely love how Disney is integrating finally a good form of representation, whether it was through Black Panther, Falcon and Winter Soldier, now Captain America and Winter Soldier, and just touching on all these moments. All their Disney Plus Marvel shows have really touched on a lot of human elements.
Yeah.
You know, and right now with Miss Marvel, they're dealing the whole mother-daughter dynamics, cultural dynamics, representation. Every time I see those types of weddings or get-togethers and they do that, I live for the dances. I live for the dances.
The Brown Jovi was hilarious to me.
Yeah.
I was just sad they didn't get a chance to perform.
Yeah. So watching what's her name? Amani Villani. And this being her first acting role, and just seeing how bubbly she is, how innocent she is. Like, oh yeah, she's very much a child. She's every bit Kamala. She's every bit Kamala.
She's fantastic.
And I love it.
I loved it when like just seeing like the first episode with her. I was like, oh my gosh, that's Kamala right there. Like that's just spot on casting. I believe I think she's from like a Midwest town.
Yeah.
And that's who she is. Like she's one of the biggest Marvel Avenger fans. Like there's who she actually is. And like she sent in her self-tape, and they immediately saw like the passion that she had for Marvel comics, Marvel movies, how she was really involved in it. And they flew her out here, and it's just, you can see that passion that she like really loved this character, because this character represents her and her culture. And then like she just loves the material. She like feels them. So it's like, if I would say out of the 3 topics, 3 shows we're talking about, this one is definitely the biggest like escapism one, where it's
Yeah.
just like it gives you the butterflies of, oh, everything is so nice, like everything is so nice and so good, and you're actually also able to learn about a different culture.
Yeah. I mean, even the little the thought bubbles and everything else, all the little animation they do, it's so cute, and I love how they're doing that. And I'm just like, this is nice. Like, we thought it was one thing when it was Peter Parker with Tom Holland's Peter Parker. This is a whole nother level now, and we're seeing it, and we're just like, this is fun. And now that I'm speaking about it, okay, so she's what, 16, so he's probably, well, he's not even in high school right now, because so yeah, she's probably like good 3-4 years behind me. But just seeing how she reacts to things and having, liking boys, liking certain boys, just being a teenager and enjoying everything, and just this whole innocence about her, and it's this face she makes that's so funny to me, because she's like, it's like this awkward feeling type of look she has, and you can see it because she kind of smirks, and I'm like, this is fun. This is really, really fun, and like, yeah, and she's really into it. I love this.
Yeah, it's that energy. Like as an actor out here as well, like it's sometimes like in certain actors, especially if they have fun playing the role, you can feel that energy as you see them work. And with her, I'm just like, you can tell she wakes up every day ready to be Kamala, with a huge smile on her face, just like ready to go, and like really want to put herself and her all into this. So it's so beautiful and organic to see. So,
and they, you know what? No, go ahead.
Oh, I wanted to say, like, one of my favorite scenes was like when she was saving the little boy who was off the building, and that conversation is such a kid conversation. Oh yeah, what do you like to eat? Ice cream, pizza. What? Well, that's a weird combo. Like, everything together. And that is such like a conversation 2 kids would also absolutely have.
Like, I'm supposed to be saving your life right now. I'm like, you completely threw me.
Yeah, absolutely. 2 kids would have a conversation where it's just like, what? Why
yeah. Right. And another thing, like I said, they're dealing with all types of forms of representation, including her one best friend, the one female, the other Muslim girl, and how she's trying to be part of their what was it, like their mosque.
Their mosque, yeah, the on the council.
Yeah, on the council, right.
Such a powerful scene when the agency went in there.
Yeah. Damage control. When damage control goes in.
Went in there, and it was beautiful to see her straight up go, well, you don't have a warrant, you cannot be in here. And like that's the energy right there. Yeah. And someone like a frontliner.
she was always touting that, and I love how she just was like, nope, not happening.
Nah, I love that energy where it's just like, you're not supposed to be here. You're not gonna come in here. We're a community of the global majority, and we're in our space. We're in our community. You are trespassing on us. Like, like if you're gonna be here, you gotta be here with the right documents. Other than that,
you see what the lead said. He was like, "Yeah, don't come back without a warning. Next time, take your shoes off."
Shoes off. Yeah, take your shoes off. You're gonna have.
You're like, you're gonna come in here. You're gonna respect it. You're like, we didn't do anything wrong. You're gonna come in here with some respect.
Have some damn respect.
But I'm absolutely loving all these shows, really. But I'm absolutely loving what they're doing with Kamala, and there's a video that's going around that Disney Cruise has. Their Marvel. I think it's called the Marvel Experience or something, and they play like a little short film. And the short film has Carol Danvers, Captain Marvel, showing up to the call of Anthony Mackie's Captain America. And she comes in, she kind of does the same thing she did in Endgame, where she shows up at the Hail Mary pass, and she's busting up all his heads and stuff.
And just dips.
yeah, and that's what she did. She was like, And I just got a call for something on the other side of the galaxy. So she takes off. Well, guess who walks into the room? Miss Marvel. And she's she's in her actual uniform, and she's talking to Captain America, and she's like, she did her, what did she call it? She did her starburst thing or something like that. And he was like, what? He was like, she called it something else, and he was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. He was like, and she took off. He was like, yeah. He was like, she's like, ah, yeah, classic Carol. And I was just like, they're so comfortable. But this is the first time we had a semi interaction with these three.
I haven't seen this
Yeah,
yet.
it's slowly getting around on the on I know it's been on Facebook because it's hard to hear it. Somebody recorded it and it's hard to hear it because it's kind of sound like a bootleg.
Oh my god! Someone, oh my! I was gonna say that sounds like a bootleg.
Yeah, but it's like, but they have a, they have their cruise. They have like a Disney cruise, and they have like this. I think it's called like the Marvel Experience, and they have like an interaction thing, which is something they're really doing a lot of with like their parks and everything else. Like they're doing like full on interaction, like with their Guardians of the Galaxy rides, with their Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, and now the Marvel Experience, even with Avengers Campus, which I swear to God, I need to go to that place.
Oh yeah, Avengers Campus, you're gonna love it. The food is fantastic. My friend, get the burger. The burger's real tasty. I can say that. Let me know if you want to go, because like we can totally go together and make a whole like Blerd's eye view whole.
Yeah, yes. Oh, you know I'm down. You know I'm down.
Yeah, let's do it. Like I live very close. I think
we got to do something. We got to do something within this year and next year. We got to do something, because that's one of those places where I'm like, I remember them creating the robot that was eventually going to be Spider-Man swinging across the campus, and I remember seeing this robot, and I'm like, that is really cool that technology has come to this level. And then when you see it in action, you're like, that is really dope. To see like this robot swinging across, and it's random, not perfect, because I've seen a couple videos where like it fell short of the mark and hit side of the building and everything else, which I'm like, but it still kind of works, so like it's kind of classic. It reminds you like Tobey Maguire when he was swinging and slammed right into the side of the building. And I love that. But yeah, we got to do something with that. But Miss Marvel, we got to work something out. We got to get something together. But Miss Marvel is the latest Disney Plus show from Marvel that is winning our hearts right now. It's the critics are loving it. Obviously, you have toxics. We don't pay them any mind. We really don't.
We don't pay the toxics any attention when we don't need to. We don't. If the thing that makes the toxics angry is when you don't pay attention to them at all.
Yeah.
When you are, and even if
you're not listening to me,
just be unbothered. Just be unbothered. It's toxics, and you kind of let them know ways. Just be in the background.
Yeah, I did a TikTok maybe a week ago, and matter of fact, it was last week. It was last Wednesday, and I said we live in a time where we get, and this was on Wednesday, last Wednesday. Yep, I said we live in a time where we get Kenobi, Miss Marvel, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness dropped that day. Umbrella Academy had dropped. I was like, we live in a time where and then The Boys came out Friday. I'm like, we live in a time where we get inundated with so much geek content. How can you complain?
Yeah.
How can you complain?
So much good entertainment. Good entertainment that should be building community. Good entertainment that should have like a full conversation with many people, many folks. Yeah. So it's kind of just like this is a you thing.
Yeah.
Thing, because you can walk up to a ton of people and just say like, hey, have you seen the latest Stranger Things, and then have a whole
tomorrow's gonna be bananas.
Yeah, I know. I gotta catch up on. I gotta finish Umbrella Academy, because immediately I'm going straight to Stranger Things.
I know they've announced that. I don't know how true it is, because I don't want to say episodes, because they said these last 2 episodes are more like movies.
Yeah,
because they're not an hour long, they're like an hour and a half long, so they're like you're really getting 2 movies kind of to finish this off. And there's a rumor saying it's what they said, and I just read it earlier, and they were like, it's rumor going around that it might be 5 deaths. And I'm like, 5? I'm like, wait a
No,
minute.
no, no,
I'm like, hold on. I said, don't do this to me.
no, no,
I was
no,
like, this was,
no.
I said 5 deaths.
No, I don't want the rumor.
Yeah,
No.
I was like, this was my reaction when I heard that.
Don't you put that on us!
I swear to God.
No,
I was like, I'm like,
no,
I said
Dad.
at first immediately, I said, if this is anything like the Suicide Squad, please let me be wrong. I was like, because I'm like, you got
Suicide
Joyce
Squad,
and Hopper,
like,
you got the bald eagle, you got. I'm like, I can see maybe 11. I hope not, but
no,
really none of the
no,
kids. Maybe I don't want to see none of the kids
no,
take a
none of the
loss.
kids. No, Lucas, no, oh no, Steve Harrington. Oh, I'll be so
I
pissed
tell
off.
you what, why everybody's talking about the verses and how bad it was, which I didn't watch it. I just seen clips and I'm like, oh yeah, that was pretty bad.
You know,
I need more Erica. I need more Erica.
yeah, no, I love Erica. I was gonna say, like, you know, like artists singing with like watermelon and
Yeah.
like, fool, go sit down and eat some
I'm like,
watermelon.
I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
Like, go back there.
It's like there was no studio magic involved. No studio magic involved. It's like you're looking back, I'm like, somebody messed with my microphone. I'm like, dude. Mm-mm.
I tell you, the only thing I can say about that versus was somebody needs to like take that baby away. Like,
Yeah.
that baby didn't deserve to be part of it.
Baby had his head turned the whole time. I'm like, this is not my daddy.
Yeah, that baby, like,
I ain't got nothing to do with this.
I ain't got nothing to do with that. I am the innocent one here.
It was like, would you stop talking about the baby being born? I ain't got nothing to do with this.
Yeah, I did not ask to be here.
You brought me to this mess. All these stories I done heard. You brought me to this.
I say it all the time. I did not ask to be here.
I'm like, who thought this up? Someone's in the backstage is like, oh, I don't know how we're going to explain this one. You're not. It's a PR nightmare. That's what it is. Just let it burn itself out.
I saw the clips too. Like, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I saw the clips. Now it's just like the funniest clip for me though was definitely Brandy, who's like an actual phenomenal singer.
Yeah.
And like, I just saw her in the crowd. She just like her whole facial expression just straight up like,
you really just destroyed everything I've built.
Yeah. I was just thinking, you know, old girl wants to go up there and just snatch that mic out.
Like, how do I save? You're like, do you see what I did with Monica? Why can't you do this?
Yeah, exactly. Like, did you know your tone? Like, what's happening here? So
I could have held the baby. What are you talking about?
Like, she's up there like, Kimmy, just give me the baby, okay? Give me the baby.
No need for everybody to suffer. No. Oh my God. This has been a great first episode. Yeah. Thanks to my new co-host for Blerds Reacts, Traci Carr. Hey. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Hi, so Traci Carr on Instagram. I am crazycar77. And definitely chat. Always open to chat with everyone. Definitely love, obviously, I tend to talk a lot of politics. But I also like to show some like geekiness too. So again, balance.
There it is. This is the episode of balance.
It's the episode of balance, and I'm hoping that folks get to know me. I'm very excited to be your new co-host for a while.
Oh yeah.
And, this is gonna be a really exciting time.
This is gonna be fun. So you can catch me on IG under Blerd's Eye View. If you go there, you'll see the link tree. Click on the link. It'll take you to all the socials, including my other IG, Fury1, where I'm also doing TikToks as well, which I haven't done in a couple days because, you know.
No TikToks, you're watching too much TV.
I never thought I'd say that. watching too much television. But you can find us all on the IG. You can find us doing a myriad of things. You can follow my co-host as well. I want to thank Villainous Beats for our new wait song that goes on at the beginning of the show. So that was dope. Also for the intro for the show. So thank you for that, Villainous Beats. You want to hit him up on IG, get you some beats. And as I do with every show, including the regular Blerds Eye View show, tune in every Tuesday at 8:30 for the Blerds Eye View podcast. You can tune in Thursdays at 8:30 p.m. for Blerds Reacts with me and myself and Traci Carr. But as I do with every show, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube, hit that notification bell, follow us on IG, follow us on Facebook. You can listen to us on the Opulence Radio app, as well as iHeartRadio. And as I do, once again, every show, thank you, everybody. Remember to educate yourself and others, entertain yourself and others, and most of all, encourage yourself and others. This is Chris Fury, the man on the wall, along with my new host, Traci Carr. I'm about to call it Traci Crazy Carr. And we're out of here. We will see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Love you.